Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to sew an overlap pleated skirt with a front slit. To start, we are going to be using the top line as the waistline. So from the waistline you're going to be marking your hip line. Mine is 7.5 inches. Also from the waistline you're going to mark the length of the skirt depending on what you prefer. And then from here you're going to connect it. And then from the waistline you're going to mark quarter of your waist measurement plus 1.5 inch allowance, while on the hip line you mark quarter of your hip measurement plus 1.5 inch allowance. On the length of the skirt you're going to minus 1 inch from the hip line and you mark it and then connect it to the hip line all the way to the waistline as I just did. When you're done with this, you're going to cut it out and this will be the pencil skirt pattern. This is the fabric I'll be using for this skirt. I have 2 yards of it. And all we're going to do now is to open it up and place a pattern we just drafted on it and cut. So this will be serving as the back pattern, and I've added allowance to the waistline and to the hemline. And then I also went ahead to cut the lining as well. This will be serving as the back pattern for this skirt, since there will be no zipper at the back. When you're done cutting out the back, you're going to use the same pattern to cut out the front. And how you're going to do it is to measure 2 inches away from the hip line, like I did. While on the hemline, we are going to, from the middle point, we're going to measure 2 inches away from it. And then you're connecting it all the way to the point I marked out earlier. You're going to try and curve it the way I am curving it now. And then from here, we're going to mark out our 1.5 inch allowance. From that 1.5 inch allowance, you're going to mark 2 inches away from it. Then after that, you're going to mark the length from which you want the slit to start from. Like from the waistline, you're going to measure down to where you want the slit to start from. So I'm using 18 inches. You can use 19 or 20 depending on how low you want the slit to be. And then while on the other side of the skirt, you're going to mark 2 inches away from the hip line and you're going to connect it to the 18 inches point. So by the time you're done doing this, you're going to cut it out as I just did, and then you're going to place it on the fabric and cut. This will be serving as the inner part of the front of the skirt. So after that, you're going to remove that pattern from the fabric and you're going to tape it back. And then after taping it back, you're going to cut out the other side. So this pattern is what we are going to be doing the slash and spread on. So for the slash and spread, we are going to be marking 1 inch on the side of the skirt where there is a slit. And how you're going to mark this 1 inch is dependent on what you prefer. Like where you want the pleat to start from, just mark 1 inch from that point all the way down to where you want the slit to stop. While on the other side also, I'm going to be marking 1.5 inch, starting from where I want the slash and spread to start from and all the way to where I want it to end. So one side is 1 inch while the other side is 1.5 inch. So after marking it out, I'm going to be connecting it like this. And then when you're done connecting, you're going to place it on the lining and you cut the lining piece first. After cutting, you're going to notch the points that we marked at both sides of the skirt. And then after that, you're going to remove it from the lining and you slash the lines that we marked out. And then take note that when you are slashing, you slash all the way to the end, opening it up as much as possible but not completely. And then when you're done slashing, you're going to spread it on the fabric like this. And how I spread it is that I use 3 inches away from each piece. So I'm just measuring it to confirm that each piece from one piece from the next is 3 inches. And then after that, these 3 inches, you're going to divide it into 2. And then you're going to create like an angle as shown. This angle will be serving as a guide when you are pleating it back up. Also pay attention to how this pattern is lying flat on the fabric. there's no bulkiness anywhere, and I used the pin to secure it in place at both sides of the skirt. And then I also added 1/2 inch sewing allowance on the waistline, on the hemline, and also at the cuff end of the overlap. When you're done with this, you're going to remove the pattern from the fabric. And then after removing, we are going to pleat it back up. So in order to pleat it, we are going to grab the sharp end of the angle that we created earlier. Remember, we divided our 3 inches by 2, and then we went up, creating that angle that we formed. So we're going to grab it, and then we are going to pleat it upward. And then take note that the distance from one pleat to the next should be about 1 inches, because that's the length, the distance we marked out when we were drafting out the pattern. Also take note that I am not pleating the other end of the skirt. I'm only pleating on the side where there was a slash and spread. As you pleat further, it's going to be appearing more smaller, and it's going to be gaining the original shape that we had earlier. So when you're done pleating, you're going to press it down, and then you're going to place the lining on it like I just did. If it is not equal, you're going to make necessary adjustments, making sure that both fabrics are almost aligned. When you're satisfied with the results, you're going to join the fabric to the lining at the cuff line and also at the hemline. Then when you're done joining the hemline and the cuff end, you're going to join the side of the skirt. And then after joining, you're going to cut off the excess. Remember, we are not cutting the lining, we are cutting off the main fabric. And also for the first front pattern that we drafted out, we are going to be closing it with the lining as well at the cuff end and also at the hemline. Then when you're done closing it, you're going to join it to the second one, and you're going to sew it at the side seam. Then after this, I'm going to cut out the band for the skirt. The length of this band is 2.5 unfold, while the width of it is similar to my waistline. Then you're going to attach heart stitch to it, and then you're going to join it to the back and the front pattern. When you're done attaching the band, you're going to join the front of the skirt to the back, and you're going to be attaching a zip at the right side of the skirt, while on the other side you're going to sew all the way down using 1.5 inch sewing allowance. And that will be all for today's video. If you did enjoy the video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.